We now welcome Woodrow Wilson Wagner, the Democratic Party Chair for Victoria County. Welcome to Community Crossroads.
Great to be here.
Well, I'm so happy you got in touch because the runoff election is right around the corner and you are the Democrat Party Chair, but this is a bipartisan preview because, I mean, it's important just to know what's happening despite your party affiliation.
Absolutely. The Democrats are not running a candidate for this precinct. And so it's going to be between these two Republican candidates in terms of who that new commissioner is going to be.
Exactly, in Precinct 2.
Precinct 2.
What a heated race that was in the primary. Wow.
Absolutely. Usually you see a real advantage with incumbents, really with any race. But this time around, the incumbent, Kevin Yannick, really got a run from his money from Jason Ort. And Jason Ort actually got more votes in that primary election. I think it was about 173 more votes than Mr. Yannick got. So now both of them go head to head. But one thing to notice is that in that first election on March 3rd, is that you had two other candidates that drew about 330 votes.
That's right.
So the question is, will those votes go to Mr. Yannick? Will those votes go to Mr. Ort? Or will those people sit out? What I would like to encourage folks, especially Democrats, to do is feel free as a Democrat to vote in a primary election for Republicans. Now, some people might be, wait, did I just mishear it, right? No, as a Democrat, you still live in that precinct. And one of these individuals is going to be your county commissioner. So why not, as a Democrat, participate in this election? And if there might be 173 Democrats who participate in this election, that could swing it.
Oh, definitely.
For either candidate.
I mean, unless you really have a horse in the race as far as the Attorney General, the State Board of Education, I think it was like place 2, those state races, unless you're really, really devoted to voting for that Democrat candidate on that race, then maybe don't vote on the GOP local ballot, but any opportunity to take part in local governance, local elections, and when the general comes around in November, you can still vote your party preference.
Absolutely. As I've said so many times, I think on this show and anybody who will listen, local community engagement is the lifeblood of our democracy. We have to take ownership of our local communities. And sadly, so many people do not vote. There's something like 17,000 voters in that precinct, and only about 3,500 of them voted.
And this most recent joint election, oh my gosh, voter turnout was so dismal. And that made every single vote that was cast even more important because the winning margins, wow, so close.
Very close. The closest I've seen in a long time. The race with Mr. Ives, the other county commissioner, I think came down to about 26 votes, 26 votes. And then this one about 170 votes. So those margins are slim, which means that all the voices count. And I can't encourage people enough who live in Precinct 2, look at that map, go on the web and find it. I'm sure you all will tell them about it. If you live in Precinct 2, participate in this election.
Oh, definitely. That's like the Woodway area. I can already see it now. And Kevin Yannick, he's been in that position for a very, very long time. I know he's still very committed to continue that service. And his opponent, Mr. Ort, he's gained a lot of popularity.
He has. And I think Mr. Yannick has a very, and again, I don't have a horse in this race, right? I'm not endorsing either of these, but Mr. Yannick has amassed a very good career, a very good track record of public works for the community. And I think he can go and look at that and see all the things he's done. Mr. Ward, on the other hand, I think has brought up a very important issue to people, which is transparency.
Yes.
And as we might remember, your viewers might remember, there was a very controversial vote in 2020 or 2020 about the use of the disaster relief funds at the airport. And there were commissioners who did not vote for an audit of those funds. And some people are still remembering that. So it might come down to that one vote that a commissioner made or didn't make on an issue that will determine who the winner of this is. And I think Mr. Ward has been bringing that up. Transparency, transparency, transparency.
I think I just got a chill. That is very, yes, it's very important to go vote And let's go ahead and remind people about early voting. That starts Monday. You can vote from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Dr. Petty Dotson Public Health Center. And make sure you make it out there. Early voting ends May 20th. That's all before the big election day.
And on big election day, you're not going to have all 35 precincts open, but the ones in Precinct 2 will be open. You can check that map. But please, please, please make your voice be heard is what my message would be.
Well, thank you so much for coming on Community Crossroads, Woodrow. We really appreciate you. And coming up, don't go anywhere. We learn about what's happening in Cuero.